Welcome, Trailblazers, to another episode of the ISV series. Today we'll be looking into Cloudingo Intelligence with Reid Scoggins, VP of Strategic Alliances. We'll have the usual structure. So first an intro, then the heart of the event will be the live demo, and then we also leave room for questions in the end. Please put your questions in the dedicated Q&A channel if possible. We are doing this event in proud collaboration with other user groups. And I would briefly hand over to Rodrigo from Mexico for greeting the audience.
Hello, everyone, and thanks, Reid, for being here. Also, René, for having us. And, hello, everyone from Mexico.
Yeah, thank you so much. With that, I would hand over to you, Reid. The stage is yours. Let me just share my screen.
All right. Well, thank you so much, René, for having us back. I know that a little while back, René and I were talking, and when we showed Cloudingo at the end of the summer, I had kind of already briefed him on what was coming next, but happy to be here and to be able to showcase Cloudingo Intelligence. So I'm going to go ahead here and start sharing my screen. And what for those of us, or for those that don't know us yet, Cloudingo has built its reputation on really one primary thing, which is making Salesforce orgs clean, searchable, and reportable and actionable. So, for a long time, we've really been focused on data quality, meaning deduplication, merging, cleaning, and automating that process for years. That foundation has given us, a front row seat into how Salesforce orgs actually behave over time. And what we've learned is this, that data quality is just one piece of org health. And so because what happens around your org, your logins, your APIs, your integrations, your custom code, that's also what determines whether your org can endure and evolve safely. So the progression of Cloudingo has expanded from keeping your data clean into helping to understand and protect your org itself. And so that's where Cloudingo Intelligence comes in. It's a new layer of visibility. It's less about the data and more about the system. It's a glance at into the health of your org, performance, security, and the important things that go on in your Salesforce environment. So as you can see, this is what you would normally see when you log into Cloudingo and what most people have come accustomed to. But what you can see here is this Cloudingo Intelligence tab, which is now available. And so,
sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, we are seeing the infinity mirror for the present.
Yeah, you're sharing the baby screen.
Stop screen sharing. Screen share window. All right. We see the Cloudingo Intelligence tab.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. So what you have become accustomed to was actually this screen right here. So the filters that are on your dashboard. And so, as most admins that I talk to, you've got a full plate on your hands. And so when it comes to org health, this is something that we want to help consolidate for you so that you can, quite honestly, just see things from both a 10,000-foot view and then be able to dial into things that are a little bit more either things that need attention or that as you're trying to be proactive and get in front of things. That's what we're trying to do here with the Cloudingo Intelligence dashboard. And so just kind of to take you through this, what you see here on the left-hand side, this Salesforce logins page, this is actually, you know, being able to see who's logging in from where. And so you can see all over the map where either applications or users are logging in. And so, of course, when you click on this tab, you can, let me give it a second here. Let's see if I can refresh. All right, we'll skip over that. That is where your login history is. And so you would actually see the different applications, how many times they're logging in. And so it's something that, you know, as you're looking for areas that, you know, whether it's a provider that is under contract to be able to have a server that's only in the EU, or it's your own Salesforce users, you know, maybe we have somebody logging in here that is just a little bit of an anomaly, and this happens to be somebody that was on vacation. So that is something that you can keep easy track of. Now, the other piece right here, the trust status, you know, this is things like being able to see incidences and maintenance windows that are coming up. And so as you come across things, of course, you know that you can go to the, you know, go search out your instance and make sure that we can go find out potential problems. Well, one of the really nice things that comes up with the trust status is being able to actually subscribe to that. And so as you know, when Salesforce starts to degrade, then you can actually say, hey, you know, these managers that are going to normally ping me here, I can go ahead and put them on this email list. And that way, as soon as we recognize it, we can actually send that out via an email. And that way we're not flooded with requests or questions on what's happening on the Salesforce side. So those are things that we can, once again, help you to get out in front of. And to kind of go along here with the Salesforce logins, you've also got down here the network access, the Salesforce whitelist list that you've got going on in your org. And so, as most of you probably have either inherited or started this out yourself, as things get continually added to the org, it's not uncommon that we see a lot of this. You have descriptions that are really not filled in. And so we've got a bunch of, I mean, you know, just open, we've got these whitelisted IPs, and whether it's a change of a vendor IP address or you've gotten rid of a certain application, we can actually infer that. So you'll see something like this where it can infer, and then you can go update the description here. So once again, we're using what we see here on the Salesforce logins tab to be able to help you infer and start to clean that up. So if we're looking to clean up some of those vendors that are no longer there, we can address that, clean it up, and have things just a little bit more tightened from a security standpoint. Again, here from the trust status, you'll also see that this kind of coalesces into like what we'll see here with the installed applications and even the Apex classes and triggers. And so being able to have a quick view of both the application, the publisher, and version, as well as whether this is a paid application and whether it's been through the Salesforce security review or not. You're getting a quick look at things here. You can actually come in and go take a look at the app on the App Exchange so that you can see, well, we have no idea what this Cloudingo agent is doing, so we can go take a look at it and then reach out to the vendor and understand what's happening, especially if it's something that you've inherited. And as you probably can see right here, we can also make sure that when we have something like this DocuSign package that is operating on a retired API. So it just was installed quite a few years ago. And so now what we can do is, before that, when Salesforce sends out that email that says, hey, these are the APIs that are going to be deprecated in this next release, instead of needing to go through the countless setup screens to go out and find what's actually going to be affected, we can quickly highlight them here and say, oh, well, this is something that we probably need to take a look at, and then we can go update the managed package. And then the same thing here, where you've got Apex classes and triggers that can also be affected from that. And again, thinking from the standpoint of an org's durability, as many of you know, like the people that set up the org may have gone actually to multiple jobs by the time that you're actually taking hold of this. And so being able to quickly see and highlight, hey, let's look at these retired Apex classes, let's consolidate that, and then we can easily hand that to, well, you can take that on yourself, or if it's something that you want your developer to address these retired Apex classes triggers, so that we're not looking at a mess in that next release. Now, the other thing that you'll see that's highlighted up here is this Salesforce API usage. So this is actually taking a look at the entire your entire allotment of API usage. And so you can see exactly as of today how much you have left. And once again, you'll see it again on the alerts page, where you can come over here and say, well, we've got, if we're getting to the point where we're over 80%, let's just give myself a ping. And that way we can make sure that we're not going to run into any kind of issues where, other packages can no longer operate. And so from those side of things, those are obviously extremely important, and we want to give you visibility so that you can act upon it. You also see here at the bottom where we've got the admin user ratio as well as the idle users. And again, just thinking from the standpoint of whether it's adoption, where you've got a new org and you want to make sure that we've actually got people that are using Salesforce. You spent all this money and you want to make sure that people are actually being able to utilize things. That's certainly an aim there. But also, it's also very common for folks to overbuy the number of users, and you look at this and you're saying, well, maybe we can take a look at this and take a look at, are these things that we actually need to take a look at and maybe decrease the number of user logins or deactivate them as Salesforce recommends, so that we don't have unusual activity. And then again, same thing from the admin ratio, just making sure that we can see, well, we've got a high number of admins here. So maybe it's a time to look at those permission sets and be able to consolidate a little bit more. But that is the aim here. Now, all of this is here, and it's as you can see, it's something that we are very excited about and want to empower our admins so that this can be a place that you can start your day at and be able to assess the org's health, as well as you'll see like in the data quality dashboard. So being able to see both from a quality standpoint, what are we looking at, as well as from an org health standpoint. And so we can get out in front of issues and make your day a little less reactive and a lot more strategic with what you're doing. So the other piece that you'll see, and I've kind of been going back and forth here between the dashboard and the alerts, as you probably, if you know Cloudingo, a lot of our users are a set it and forget it type of customer. And what I mean by that is there are a lot of things that you don't need to just come to Cloudingo for on a regular basis, like an automation job, or in the case of, you know, these alerts, like these degradation alerts. Well, maybe we just want to get an email, right? And so you'll get that same level of being able to be in Cloudingo when you want, but also allowing yourself to do what you need to do, and get the alerts from Cloudingo through an email. And so whether it's a weekly cadence happened in the org, maybe it's some kind of alert from an apps standpoint, or fields that have been modified, updated, or deleted, you can get all of that here by a weekly or daily alert. And you can put as many email addresses in it so that you can make sure that the people that are going to be affected most have this timely information. And so I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail beyond this, because this is what we have so far, and we're very excited about this evolution of Cloudingo and where we're headed to next, as we try to make the most of your time in stewarding the org going forward. So what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to open it up to Q&A. And then what I can also do is I will make sure to put my contact information here in the chat. And that way, if there's anything that I either can't answer, or that we want to follow up on, or you guys think, you know, there's something that you guys have a great idea for what should come next, I'm all ears. And so I'm going to open it up to the Q&A now. So the first question here is...
Sorry, I was just on mute. So first of all, thank you, Reid, for this insightful walkthrough. Yeah, let's go through any questions we might have, and let's collect additional questions from the audience. There wasn't a long time elapsed, so maybe some people are still thinking. Yeah, so please go ahead and proceed. Or should I read the question? So Suman is asking about the retired API and any automation in that regard. How would you answer that?
It says, for how many days the retired API stays before completely removing from the server, or stays permanently. So these are all going to be updated. So like you'll see that there's a timestamp here, and it's going to be looking at the org itself. And so as of today, right, at this time, that's where we still see these retired API that are correlated to these managed packages, or the Apex classes. And so we can, once you go and update those in Salesforce, then you'll, once the next refresh, it's, I want to say it's about an hour, then you'll see that it was taken care of.
Yeah, so we can see the timestamp, but yeah. Okay, thank you so much. So I think part of the answer would be that Cloudingo doesn't do anything to amend the situation. It surfaces the latest state, but it does not do anything to the code.
That is correct. Yeah, I mean, when we're talking about this, you actually have the ability to click right in here, and you can go look in Salesforce. So it's actually linking it to what's in Salesforce, and then you can go make those changes to the Apex class or trigger. And typically from a managed package standpoint, it may be as simple as just going to the App Exchange and then going in there and just updating the package. So a lot of times installed packages don't push updates because they don't want to, break something, right? And so this is something that you can go and just go to the App Exchange, update the package with their latest version.
Yeah, clear. So Rodrigo, do you maybe want to ask your question yourself?
Sure, Reid. I was wondering if the tool is amazing. I mean, looks great. Provides a lot of information. I was just like twisting my mustache and saying like, "This is awesome." But I was wondering if there's any, or you have any client on educational institutions or nonprofits that are currently using Cloudingo Intelligence.
Yes, there are a number of them. This is actually available to all of our Cloudingo customers. So there's a number of them, but when we push this out, this is actually just part of the existing license. So it's a nice expanse on what, like I said, what we're already doing, which is trying to help the admin make the org as viable as possible. And I think as we kind of look at the horizon, which I feel like most people are looking at this, and it's really hard to anticipate what, because of the rapid change of things, what is it going to look like? And so we want to empower our admins to be able to look at some of those core principles, which is, org health, data quality, things like that we want to bring to the surface and then let you act upon them. So that was a longer answer to your question, but yes.
So for that, I haven't understand it in the whole, but you had to have purchased Cloudingo so you can have Cloudingo Intelligence. It's like a part of.
Yeah, so you'll see, like, you have all these different tiles here on the left-hand side, and it can be as simple as looking over here at your data quality dashboard and being able to assess, some pretty top-level issues that then you can dial into. So it can be like, hey, we've got inactive owners that we need to address, or we want to go ahead and fix these inactive pick list values. So again, a lot of stuff that you'll see from these two dashboards are kind of just bubbling up some of the things that you can address with Cloudingo. So then you can dial into the tools, which is once again built around that merge, convert, update, and delete. But Cloudingo Intelligence is just kind of a step in a different direction, because we're no longer just looking at the data itself. We're more so looking at the entire environment.
Awesome. Thank you.
If I may ask a follow-up question on that. If you would expand this intelligence functionality further, would you maybe consider to decouple it or to make a separate license available for organizations that would be mainly interested in this, or is it too early to say?
I think it's too early to say. I think the salesman in me, I feel like there's always a possibility of that, especially if it becomes something that is more ubiquitous and things that people are just like, hey, I really just need this. But right now, that has not been a conversation that's been, had.
Yeah, I see. Thank you. We have another question from Suman Malik, who asks, does Cloudingo Intelligence monitor API? We have seen an example, so could you recap that briefly?
Does it monitor? I'm sorry, what's the question? Does it monitor the API?
Yeah,
like the
it's a bit
API
of a global
usage?
question. Suman, can you specify that further? Yeah.
Well, and I'll try to do this here. So right here from what you're looking at from the Cloudingo Intelligence dashboard is the entirety of your Salesforce API allotment. So we're taking a look at things, and again, if you think about it from an org health standpoint, what we're trying to do here is make sure that there is no issues that will pop up from the standpoint of, you've chewed up all your APIs, and now we're not able to run some of the more crucial operations that we have, whether it was some kind of lead routing or lead enrichment or whatever the business has from that side of things. And then purely from a Cloudingo standpoint, you do also have the ability to throttle it. So you can actually say, hey, Cloudingo, because we're using Salesforce APIs from a merging and converting standpoint, you can say, hey, Cloudingo, you only have these amount of APIs to use, or you could say, like, during a 24-hour period, like, this is the window that you're allowed to operate in. So that's maybe more than what you're asking, but yes.
Yeah, so you were describing the behavior of the existing Cloudingo package, that you can set a limit there, right?
That's correct. Yeah, you can come over here and you can actually say, we only want to use a certain amount of API calls between this period, or you could say during a certain time frame. And that is for the Cloudingo package. This on the intelligence dashboard is actually looking at the entirety of your Salesforce API allotment. And so, obviously the two are correlated, but the API usage is for the entirety of the org.
Yeah, I see. Then we have a question from Rosemary, who asks, as a beginner admin, what security risks should I prioritize in my Cloudingo Intelligence monitoring?
Well, I think that, the big things that really stand out to me as I'm trying to digest what's happening, is, of course, the logins, right? You being able to see who's logging in from where, depending on your organization, being able to spot those anomalies is certainly a big piece of that. But I think if we were talking about from just like a very quick win type of situation, being able to then use this information to look at some of these, gaps that you may have, where, it is not uncommon for me to see orgs that, just over time, there's a lot of hands in here, and they're all, everybody wants their application working. And so they're willing to kind of do whatever they want and not always think about the implications. And so the network access and being able to spot some of these things from an installed packages standpoint, those are certainly threats that you can easily take care of and get in front of using the Cloudingo Intelligence dashboard.
Yeah. Rodrigo says an actual knowledge base session would be interesting. I think so as well. Maybe as a follow-up question, is there a knowledge base in relation to this, or a help article where I can learn further about the new solution?
Yes, there absolutely is, and you can come over here and you can. It's at help.cloudingo.com. But if you were in your Cloudingo license, you can click here. And like I said, if there, I didn't put this in the chat, but you can always reach out to myself or somebody on the Cloudingo team over here, and we would be happy to answer any questions that either I left undone, or if it's something that you want to dive deeper into. I'm always happy to do that.
Yeah, thank you so much. I had a follow-up question myself on the API usage. So if we see that our API bandwidth is being eaten up, is there a way that you can recommend to identify the culprit, or can we just see the symptom?
So Renee, this is actually a great question, and I would love to tell you that this is going to come in the next iteration. I just don't know, but that is definitely something that has been voiced, where it's like, well, we can. It's great to be able to get out in front of the the impending doom of it chewing up your entire API usage or being alerted of it. But how do I know which tool or which application or what is chewing that up? Now you can come over here to the, well, I won't show you that, but you can go to the Salesforce login tab, and you would be able to see the different applications and how active they are. So that is a possibility of helping to kind of deduce it. But yes, you are hitting on something that I've heard and has been voiced, is like being able to see a breakdown of which things are using the API consumption, so that we can address it, right?
Yeah, sure. If we talk about applications, then I mean, I'm not seeing it here, but are you considering a reputation scoring or something like that? I mean, the security review is not too frequent in time.
Yeah.
And you might be able to pass it and then add malicious code afterwards, in theory. I'm not saying anybody's doing that, because that wouldn't make sense with the posture of being on a marketplace and maintaining a reputation, right? But
right.
Are you considering this?
Yeah, I think that, like I said, this is we're very excited about the direction that we're headed here, and trying to give the admin more visibility into some of these really pertinent issues that can arise in an org. And so, yes, I think that there are definitely conversations that are being had as to what does it actually look like to, like, should we be looking and saying, well, DocuSign, they've got a SOC 2, they've got an ISO, all those types of things, being able to surface this here. I know that, a lot of organizations that I work with will be using, certain applications like a OneTrust or something like that, where they've got a full documentation of all their vendors, and being able to set up alerts and doing that kind of stuff. I think this is more so in the, like, I'm not saying that it's not on the table. It's just more like this is, we're trying to help give you a really quick way to look at things and see some of those really pertinent issues. Like, hey, this one it's a free application that we installed that is, not going through the Salesforce security review. So is that something that we need to highlight and then act upon quicker? So I think it's more about priority.
Yeah, I see. I mean, you would need to maintain a priority in your roadmap, right?
Yep.
I think I spotted or understood at one point that you could do things to the org. I think it was in the network access section. You could actually complete the things, or was I mistaken?
In the network access piece, yes. So you actually come over here and go in and edit the description. So again, we're talking about what's in Salesforce itself. And you can then see like, okay, well, this is these IP addresses. We believe, like I said, right here, like based on what we're seeing up here in the login access, we can infer that it's likely this, and then you can go in and fill it in. So
yeah, and that can be done in Cloudingo, so it gets pushed back into the org.
Correct, and it's just like down here with the custom Apex classes. Obviously, this is something where you're actually clicking on the Apex class, and it would then redirect you to your Salesforce org where you can address that Apex class or trigger.
Yeah, sure. So that I can see its content, right? So,
exactly.
Yeah. But the interaction capability in the previous section, in the whitelist ranges section, that is more exceptional, that you can do something to the org here, right? That is not the case for most other elements.
Yeah, I mean, the idea here is to help fill in a lot of these descriptions that often get, just from a time standpoint, people often don't fill them in. And so being able to then go in there and edit the actual description based on things like this, where we can see, okay, well, this application is logging in using this IP address, so we can infer that it is probably these whitelisted IP addresses should go to this application.
Yeah, so that, but it is an explicit list of the whitelists, right? It's not suggesting any new ranges.
No, it's not. It's not suggesting any new ranges. I think that, I'm not exactly sure from a technical standpoint if that would be possible, kind of going the other way, like you're saying. If we have, an application and the IP address or the whitelisted IP addresses have changed, then do we go back and change that? I'm not sure if that is even a possibility. I'm not on that side of the house, but potentially.
Yeah.
Right now, it's definitely meant the other way around. It's just looking at those IP addresses and helping you to infer that description field.
Yeah, I don't want.
It is a good idea.
Too philosophical about it, but like if there are applications that are not whitelisted but could easily be, then this could be helpful to lock them to that range. But you've already said that. Rodrigo asks, will Cloudingo embed AI agents within the application? I think that's a quite advanced question.
Yeah, and I feel like from our side of things, the answer to this is always a little bit, trying to take a realistic look at what is possible, also what is useful, because I think in the space that we're in, it's much more about where to put AI as opposed to just trying to inject AI for no reason. So I don't want to rule that out as something that is not a possibility, but right now I think what our goal is trying to help make the admin's life a whole lot easier, being able to like from this Cloudingo Intelligence standpoint, being able to surface some of the things that are easy blind spots, things that can often get overlooked. And, you know, probably for a good amount of time, it may not even affect you, but over the course of time, when you're continually adding in new applications, new flows, new triggers, new users, it's increasingly more important to be able to spot issues before they become, you know, problems. And so that's the goal, trying to make an org that is both healthy from a data standpoint, meaning clean data, but also from a system standpoint, making sure that we're setting the org up for a very durable future.
Yeah, so the rather broad trust that users have given to Cloudingo by giving access to data is then like extended to metadata competence. Yeah. Rodrigo has a follow-up on his question, I think.
I just wanted to say, Reid, that was an awesome answer. I really celebrate that you are not going on that trend that every app has to have an agent. Not every app, every situation needs one. So, and I think what you're accomplishing right now, it's awesome, and I really celebrate that you don't have going in that trend. So amazing that for my end.
Well, thank you. And I think from like the guys on the other side of the house that are putting this together are extremely thoughtful about this type of thing, and they are you know, they definitely take a very, I think they take a very good, healthy perspective of both what it is that our clients want as well as what they need, and try to make sure that we're not going to put ourselves in a position where you know, we're just putting something out there just to make the tool more expensive, right? That's it, you know, for a lot of folks, that doesn't make sense, right? We want to put the development where it's going to actually make impact.
Yeah, I see. Thank you so much. With all the alerts that have been sent, have you built in a log of the alerts that are going out, or can I see when an alert was set up? If somebody says I haven't received mine or something, that I can check.
So there's well, maybe I need to follow up with this, but you can set up alerts to come to you at any time. Whether it's they kind of break down into kind of three, which is timely alerts, daily alerts, and weekly. And so it's just a matter of coming over here and, you know, picking out the interval that you want. And then you set up whatever email addresses that you want to have it sent out. So I'm not sure if that really answers your question, Renee, or not.
Yeah, maybe I didn't phrase it very well. So it was kind of, do I have an audit view of what has been done on the alerts?
I'm going to have to default here to you just pinging me, and I will get you an answer, and we can follow up with that one. I don't know that for sure.
Yeah. I mean, Rodrigo was also hinting at this in a question he's put in the Q&A. Did you maybe have any success stories with all the recent security issues we've heard about with applications accessing Salesforce? Do you know of anything that has been prevented or so using Cloudingo?
Yeah, you know, I mean, from our side of things, you know, we've been using the intelligence dashboard for obviously the longest because we're doing the testing. But this is a fairly new thing where I want to say this has been out for maybe about a month. So I won't tell you that there's like a ton of success stories, but I can tell you just from our own internal instance, like being able to spot, you know, both from just like some really simple stuff, like, you know, when the last release went out and we realized that, hey, there's a couple of applications here that we installed back, you know, many years ago that we just haven't taken a look at. And so being able to spot those really quickly and then get out in front of the issues that we're going to have, that were going to happen with those managed packages, as well as, you know, from an API usage standpoint. So I think there was a time where we were heavily chewing up some API calls with a new application that we were using, and being able to spot that really quickly and be like, all right, actually, we need to slow things down. And, you know, a lot of times if it's in a short window of time, I won't say that this is something that always happens, but, you know, being able to reach out to Salesforce and say, hey, we're doing this thing right now, and being able to say, can we get a short-term extent or allotment of API calls so that we can complete this job? And they were extremely helpful. So
yeah, thanks for sharing. This is really insightful, like a quality of service approach. Given again the security being a hot topic and breaches and whatnot, could we briefly highlight the security points here? Like when I'm very security minded, what do I get in terms of alerts?
Yeah, so there's a number of alerts here that you can address. And so, I mean, it can be, you know, as you're to get in front of the problem of, you know, people whitelisting IP addresses without any kind of description, we can have that enabled as well. So we can get an alert, and that way we can get in front of those type of issues that might already be adding to it, right? Same thing here, from things that get added or modified. That's another thing that we want to be able to make sure that we're addressing. You'll see this as well from the TLS protocols. You know, being able to make sure that we're just you know, people are using the right protocols for right here for Salesforce, and then same thing from a login outside of a certain geographic region. Same thing from a security like if you do change the Salesforce security settings in Salesforce, that is also something that we can address. So whether it's as simple as you know, you want to make sure that somebody's locked out after a third failed attempt instead of 10, you know, things like that that just add up over time. We want to help highlight those so that you know what's going on in the org, and people aren't just fiddling with things to make it more convenient, all while knowing that, you know, it's a living, breathing organism that you have going here. So we want you to be aware and work together to make this the most successful and most durable org that you can have.
Yeah, thank you so much for this overview. So you've highlighted security, you've highlighted performance that was mainly tied to the API usage, right? There is also the point of surfacing the degradations. So there was a question that I could ask, that it would be possible to surface a degradation in the org earlier than the Salesforce trust page does. Did I get that correctly?
And this is another one I'm gonna pause here because I don't want want to say something I'm off on, but this is what we're trying to do here is taking from the trust site. So it's actually making sure that we can highlight those incidences and those maintenance windows, things like that, and be able to quickly send them out to you. So we are actively monitoring that. I'm just going to pause right there, and I'll get you a better answer so that we can I can speak truthfully here.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, also the polling interval on trust would probably have to be higher than 1 hour for it to be timely, right? Would you highlight technical debt as something you are addressing via installed applications and the code monitoring, etc.?
Yeah, I think that's certainly part of it. Being able to highlight, the installed applications that are literally, nobody even knows what it's doing, or these Apex classes and triggers that were built many years ago, and so we want to be able to. Those are certainly in our mind from a technical debt standpoint, and then of course, what you see from just a normal Cloudingo license from what we're known for from forever is like being able to quickly find things that that really just no longer need to exist, and so you can query the data, go find them, and address it from a delete standpoint.
Yeah, I see. We also had another question in the chat. If it is a question, like, will this kind of monitoring one day be replaced by AI? I guess your answer would be not now.
Yeah, I think that for us, the answer is yeah, correct. It's not now. I think what I see more and more of is like the human in the loop, and that's I think if you were to see that type of I guess development from Cloudingo, I think that's still probably where we sit right now. But again, our goal is to help the admin make the most of the org, and that to our core mission, which has always been cleaning up the data and empowering your org from that side of things. But now, as we expand, just trying to look at the org itself and see how do we make sure that we're putting you in the best position each day, and then also setting up those type of alerts so that it like I said, it can be really simple, but things that often will cause issues. And so whether it's as simple as a modification of a field, and now your Pardot's not working the way it was, or it could be a case of in an instance alert where that manager that is always on your case is, you can send him an alert as soon as Cloudingo notices the degradation. And so now we're proactive instead of having to go find the trust site, look at your org, and then be able to say, oh, here's the reason. It's not me. It's Salesforce. So
Yeah. There are applications that are focused on monitoring changes. There are those that deal with tech debt. There are those that are security oriented. There are org health checkers. And what I find amazing and like awesome is that you present a mix of those categories, even some observability and collecting telemetry from the org. That's something I've not seen elsewhere. Maybe I've missed it. Then it also means that you do not specialize in security per se, that you do not specialize in tech debt. But that also doesn't prevent you from putting any of those categories on the roadmap, right? Would you be able to speak to the roadmap, maybe?
René, to that, I would say, I think you will see some rapid evolution of the Cloudingo Intelligence dashboard. I think this is, as excited as I am, and I think it already adds a whole new layer to what Cloudingo is. It is very much version 1, and I think you'll see some things that we are continuing to learn from our customers and hearing like, all right, well, this is great, but like I said, some of the things that we looked at even in the intelligence dashboard that we're like, all right, well, actually it'd be great if it did this, or this is all wonderful, but this is a pain point that I actually deal with. And so we're definitely getting a ton of feedback. And so trying to take that and run with it. So, again, our goal is to help our clients, clean up their org and keep that org as viable as possible through the rapidly changing landscape. So,
yeah, thank you so much for the summary. I think your customer base is certainly large enough for you to get a lot of feedback. Olivia has also kindly added that customers have reported useful observations out of Cloudingo Intelligence. Yeah, that is really awesome. Thank you for this overview. If there are no more questions, maybe a final word from you, Rodrigo?
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you, Reid, for this demonstration. And I would like to maybe sometime have the ability to get the demonstration for Spanish-speaking countries. So I think this is a really awesome tool that has to be more visibility in the ecosystem. So that's what my thoughts on it. And thank you for all of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
What I'd briefly highlight is the information that is freely available is really quite comprehensive on the website and so on. That is very helpful, even not having access to the app itself. So kudos for that. Yeah, last word to you, Reid, to say.
Well, yeah, thank you so much for having us. Like, we're super excited about this. We're like I said, I think you'll see some evolution of Cloudingo Intelligence, but I think as I think I've reiterated several times, our core mission really hasn't changed. We're still in the business of making the most of your Salesforce org. It just has expanded in what we can do. So we're excited. If any of you guys have any feedback or questions, I'm all ears. So please feel free to email me or hit me up on LinkedIn, and I'd be happy to have a conversation with you.
Yeah, thanks so much for doing this with us. And Olivia adds that one can do a free trial by setting it up on cloudingo.com for those who are interested. Thank you so much, Olivia. Thanks everybody for being here. Wish you a great evening, morning, or wherever you are. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks, René. Bye, guys.
Bye.